Getting into software development these days might just feel a little bit like getting into a moving train. You need to catch up with the speed before you can hop on. Now, there are traditional ways of getting into software development that would include getting a computer science degree or onboarding yourself into a coding bootcamp. But these ways share one major flaw. They rely heavily on learning that is not backed up by real business problems or development in team problems. Let me give you an example. Let's consider Git. I think it would be way easier to comprehend the tool if you would encounter a problem that requires code source control strategies. Same goes with great many other software development concepts. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's crucial to understand underlying fundamentals and theory behind any tool or code that you would use to become a quality software engineer. But I think it's not a necessity to start as one. That said, I wanted to talk about Power Platform, which is extremely forgiving for any entry-level specialist or software developer. So in this video, I will try to provide 5 compelling arguments why starting your IT career with Power Platform would be a sensible thing to do. So without further ado, let's jump into argument number 1. Power Platform is designed with a low entry barrier in mind, meaning that your everyday accountant or project manager can start building their applications. This inclusivity is primarily due to user-friendly nature of the Power Platform and the minimal technical setup required to start building your applications. For example, let's say you need to create a relational database to store your data. Setting up a SQL database would require quite a bit of knowledge on relationships, data field types, and such. Now, it's way easier to comprehend the idea behind database when you have a visual representation of it, and Dataverse gives just that. My second point is related to the cornerstones of any software, such as frontend, backend, APIs, databases, and how Power Platform Toolset can give you a holistic understanding on how those pieces interact with each other. Now, it's true that Power Platform products are not limited to single engineering domain, but they might very well represent the idea of it. For instance, Canvas applications are by no means a front-end development framework, but it can represent very well what kind of problems you would want to encapsulate in front-end layer. Same goes with Power Automate Flows or Dataverse. They neither are backend frameworks or databases, but they can give you a very vivid picture of what kind of processes you would want to encapsulate within those domains. And I think it's way easier to comprehend these ideas of engineering domains from low-code platforms and visual representation than from the actual code. I think it's safe to assume that major goal for anyone who is trying to become a software engineer is being hired by an IT company. And that leads me to my third point. With Power Platform, you don't really need to be hired by IT company to start working as a software engineer or technical consultant for that matter. Now, one of the beauty of any low-code platform is that they're being used widely among many different types of companies, not only in IT sector. If your company is within Microsoft ecosystem, then high chances are that you can already start optimizing and automating your or your team's business processes and become so-called citizen developer. This way, you can start building your own experience even before joining any so-called IT company. And it gets even better. Usually the knowledge in any business domain for a software engineer is considered a huge plus. Here I am talking from my own experience, since I became software engineer following the same path. My degree was physics, and I started my career in marketing. It took me a few years to land a first software engineer position. Yet still to this day, I usually present myself as a technical consultant / software engineer. My next point is about ability to kickstart your development process in Power Platform without a need to mess around with IT setup and infrastructure. And I think this is one of the major reasons why Power Platform popularity growth is so rapid. Any production-ready implementation could be started with only a few button clicks, which means that you're solving business problems right away, instead of messing around with databases, cloud services, or whatever else might be in the mix. And this is beneficial both ways, for companies and for entry-level specialists. Companies get instant added business value, and on the same account, developer gets valuable experience. Now, it might seem that with Power Platform, your career prospects as a software engineer could be limited with this platform alone. And this leads me to my last point. Yes, it's true that one can spend most of his career without a need to develop anything outside of Power Platform itself. Nevertheless, in more complex implementations, usually more sophisticated tools are required. And this is where we usually use pro code, tools and languages to raise Power Platform implementation into next level. For model-driven apps, we have .NET Framework plugins or PCF controls built with React. Also, a common side is usage of Azure Platform Toolset. Long story short, in case it's your career desire, there are plenty of options to make transitions to so-called real software engineering world. Now, to sum it all up, Power Platform gives new tech specialists a very good introduction to software development with hassle-free start. A good analogy would be a big jigsaw puzzle made up of few smaller puzzles. Now you could try to understand the whole picture by piecing it together one by one, which would provide very deep understanding of the whole picture, but would take so much more time than looking into already assembled puzzle and exploring specific areas in detail when needed. It's similar story with Power Platform. It represents a complex pre-assembled puzzle that allows you to grasp the big picture quickly, and if you need to, you can delve deeper into its inner workings to get more insight. And that's everything I wanted to share with you this time. As always, I appreciate you tuning into these videos, and if it's not too much of a hassle, please like and subscribe. I put quite a bit of elbow grease getting that purple background right there. I hope to see you next time.